Hello, everyone. This is Aaron, and I am
I'm Johnny.
now joined with Johnny. I wasn't for the first one, but now it is 11:24 at night, and I redid Threesome from the ground up again.
This is probably not going to make it out to you before it's due, but there's a chance that he'll postpone it because a lot of people I think were having trouble. But if he doesn't, we still wanted to just get this out there for the sake of it, so why not?
And I want to be clear as well. The original Threesome that I did isn't wrong. It's just what he described in class. So whenever he described it in class, he didn't describe that it needed to automatically do those ratios, and that we had to be comparing it to another one.
Yeah.
So what?
So the one that we're comparing to is slightly different. There is another version of a way of the algorithm that you use to calculate. There's this, again, it's slightly different. I think there's one less if statement, which makes it more efficient.
Yeah. The biggest thing is that we found the threesome count from the book. I want to say it's at the very beginning of section 1.4, but basically it will be like the first page after one of those sections in chapter 1. So if you need to go and try to find it, I'm pretty sure it's 1.4, but you might have to look around a little bit.
You can do a search for threesome and you'll find it.
Probably.
Or Control F throughout the PDF that's online for the book. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and I will run through my main, and we'll hit each function as we hit it in main. So we'll go ahead.
So again, I did this in two separate files. He did it as just input, and you choose which one you want to run.
Yeah, and you can do it either way. This is just so that way I only have to submit one file, which I like that idea a little bit more.
I ended up submitting 3 because I had also a text file for the runs.
Yeah.
But you could put that in the comments, I suppose.
So, anyways, public static void main, that hasn't changed. I'm going to have a scanner because I'm going to be giving them an option on which one they want to take. So I need to use scanner for that. Our next one is system.out.println. We're printing what version would you like to call. For book, you would press 1, or for online, you'd press 2. That just makes it a little easier on me, because then I can just compare an int instead of a string, which they could enter a string multiple ways as well. So it just makes it easier. So I take their decision in the next int, and then before I actually start my if statements, I'm going to declare old time as a double, and I'm going to set that equal to 1.
Yeah.
This is the same thing that we did in the previous video, which even though this is labeled 3.5,
that was
we
did 4. Yeah.
Yeah, this was from episode 4, in that we have to take the old time and get that and divide it by our
current time.
So
that's how you calculate the ratio.
Yeah. And so that way we don't get an undefined number. We have to use 1.
Yeah.
So
for that first case.
Yes, for the first case. That's why it's outside of both of the if statements. It's just easier to declare there.
Because outside that, at the end of the for loop, you can see old time is set to the previous time.
Yeah. So if they set that their decision is going to be equal to 1, we're going to start looping through. I use for int I is equal to 1. This is an infinite loop, so be careful whenever you run this. And then I plus equals to I will double it. And multiplication is a lot slower than addition, so this will help increase the runtime of this loop, which is not being timed. If you want to start at a higher number, you can change what I is equal to, and that's what number you'll be starting at. I chose to do it at 1 because I just like having the numbers go up by like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, just like the normal base 2 kind of things. And true just means it's always looping. So
what is create array?
All right. Well, then we get to create array.
I did this slightly differently, so I'm wondering myself.
As you can see, we're passing it I, so that's the integer that we're wanting to do it by. So if we go down here, this is a different function called create array, and we're passing it an index. So I will end up being the index for our new integer. if you
I
watch...
thought you were saying that, like, Aaron, am going to be the...
Oh.
Okay.
Anyways...
I'm tired. Sorry, guys.
If you watch the first threesome, this is pretty much the same thing. So we're going to create a random number generator using new random, which is something that we imported at the very top. Then we're going to go ahead and set array, which is the only global variable that we have.
Yep.
So we're going to declare that to have the length of index. As int I is equal to 0, I is less than index in I++. As we iterate through the array, we're going to do the random numbers. 0 through 20 is what I did again. And then if I is divided by 2 is equal to 0, it will make it... So basically, if the number is even, that number... Or if the index is even, that number is automatically going to be a negative number. Just because whenever we go through the three sums, so that way it actually hits that last final, it'll have negative numbers to make it equal 0.
Okay.
And then that's the array created. So I'll go ahead and collapse that again and come back to here.
So it does that in both for loops? Or are you just going through the one right now?
I'm just going through the one right now, but it does do that in both. You need to make sure that you do have this in your for loop, because every time you go through, your I is going to change. So this actually down here, whenever it hits 2, it changes, it creates a new array with that index of 2 now. So it resets the global one. And that means that you don't have to go in whenever we get later to it and reset it in each function.
So are you making a completely new array every time through the loop?
No, it's still using that global array.
It's just increasing the size of it?
Yes.
Every time through the loop?
Yes.
Okay.
So by doing new array with the index. So that's what it's doing. So then we're going to do double time is equal to count.
Oh, you're not counting that in the time. Okay.
No.
I was thinking that would be... I'm like, that would definitely impact the timing of it.
It definitely would, but we're not counting that in the time. So double time is going to equal to count book. We're using the same stopwatch class that we used for the other one. Something that I ended up having to do, I was getting nan errors and infinity errors. I switched to nano time, and then what I did here is I actually added 6 zeros to the end of that number.
To make it still come out as seconds?
Yeah, so it's still coming out as seconds, but it's getting a lot more precise measurements. And so instead of it being like, oh, that's pretty much 0, and just rounding it to do its conversion, it's going pretty far. So that's the same class. If you want to copy that, you can see that there. But it's going to go ahead and start our stopwatch. Or actually, it's going to call the function first. I'm sorry. It's going to call the function first. So we'll go up to count book. So n is the length of the array. Count is equal to 0, but you'll never use count. And then we go ahead and create our stopwatch. Stopwatch timer is equal to new stopwatch. That is what actually starts our time.
Yeah.
then
Nested for loops with a single if inside.
Yeah.
This is the one from the book, which is slightly more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just want to open both so they can see them both, because they are very similar.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's one extra line, which is that one right there.
And I'm not even sure what that one's doing.
What this one is doing is making sure that if you have like 3 numbers, negative, 10, 0, and 10, that whenever you go through again and you have at some point 10, 0, negative 10, that you don't add it again to count 1.
Okay, and the reason that is not a problem in the count book is because I starts at 0, but J doesn't start at 0. It starts at I plus 1, and then K starts at J plus 1. As you can see in the count online, they all start at 0.
Yeah.
So that's the 2 different ways of solving that issue.
So as you can see, both of these are returning the same thing, which is timer.elapsed time. That's what stops our time, does the calculation, converts it to seconds, and then sends it back to here, which is what we're assigning to double time. We then do a formatted print statement to make it all pretty and everything. We start at the left being I, so that's how many times we iterated through it. Or, no, it's not. That's how many, that's our index, total index for the array.
The size of it, yeah.
Yeah. We do time, which is how long it took for that one. And then this
is the ratio.
The ratio.
And
Like
that,
we said earlier, 10,000 is a good number for it to do its computations and not lose any.
Now, you might not have to do that anymore if you switch to doing nanoseconds.
Maybe not, but
it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. They cancel anyways, so.
It doesn't change the result of the calculation. It just helps reduce any chances of it being negative or infinity.
Yeah. So then we're going to do old time is equal to time, and that's going to be the last thing for the loop, and it infinitely loops through that.
Please can play the game.
So.
Please can play the game. Ah! The freaking week we got to play the game.
And then the other for loop is exactly the same, except for the fact that you're doing count online, not count on book.
So, and then for the last part, I have an else statement in case they are like smart Alex and decides to put like 3 or something
Banana.
that wasn't an option. It'll say, sorry, not a valid number. Please rerun the program.
That works.
We close scanner, and then everything goes happy-dory. So, this is what he was really looking for online. I didn't get this, obviously, my first try. You guys saw what my first try was.
And we kind of just rushed getting that one together and uploaded because we wanted something to help you guys, but...
Yeah, like, the actual information there is not wrong. You just need to make sure... that's what he described in class. This is what he's looking for online. So, if there's any other way that we can help you, please email us. Our emails are in the end card. Please subscribe to us because we will be putting these out as much as possible, or hit the notification bell, or I don't know, bookmark it, whatever. And yeah, we hope you guys have a good night, that you guys did well on this, and that he extends it for everyone to try and redo this.
Hopefully. I mean, or he'll maybe explain what he actually really wanted, and maybe both of our tries have been wrong.
Possibly.
Who knows? Find out tomorrow.
So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Please enjoy your day.